malo le lai, pulavinaka, taloha ni talofa.
Sepuloni.
Thank you. Whakalofa lahi atu, Mr. Speaker. Kia orana, Maori, bonjour, wanye, and kia ora koutou. I'm trying to get through those quickly as I only have 5 minutes to speak in this debate. My job as the last speaker for the Labour Party is just to sum up the debate that we've had today. Can I just start by acknowledging all of the 41 parliamentarians that have travelled here from your own countries. Thank you for coming here to share with us your insights, to teach us. Thank you for coming here to strengthen the really important relationships that we as a New Zealand Parliament have with your parliaments. Can I also acknowledge all the people that have contributed to the forum, the Ministry of Foreign Affairs officials, the Pacific Corporation Foundation, all of the community leaders that have come out to meet you. Can I also acknowledge the organisations that have hosted you while you've been here, and of course can I acknowledge the number one man looking after you during this week, and that is the man that has more titles than there are Pacific Islands, and that is the Honourable Ambassador, Mātua, Professor, His Worship, Shane Jones. Good to see you, Shane. Can I also acknowledge the guest speakers that have been part of this event, including two former parliamentary colleagues, Charles Cheval and the Honourable Luamanavau Winnie Laban. I am one of the 5 Pacific MPs from the Labour Party. I am the youngest of the 5 Pacific MPs. I just thought I'd point that out. But there are 8 Pacific MPs in this House, 5 from our side, and you would have heard from all of them today, Alfred Ngaro, Sam Lotuienga, and also our friend from New Zealand First, and that is Derek Ball, who not only has Kiribati and Tongan genealogy, but I think has strong connections to Fiji as well. So acknowledging the importance of Pacific representation in this Parliament, as one of the 5 Pacific MPs in the Labour Party, I think it's really important to acknowledge that being Pacific, that Pacific journey, that understanding for everything that Pacific have to contribute, but also the challenges that we face has been a very big part of what's driven me to be in this place as a representative, and I know that that's the case for many of the Pacific parliamentarians in here. Pacific, living Pacific, knowing Pacific is what has shaped my belief that we are not only here as Pacific people to serve our communities, but that we also have a lot to offer in terms of serving other communities, particularly those that need advocacy in some way, those that need a hand up, those that need an opportunity, and those that are underrepresented in any way. And I think on that note, I will acknowledge that that issue has been traversed quite widely by many of the speakers in terms of women's representation. We know that that's an issue for our Pacific parliaments. It's also an issue for us here. And can I note that although it's important to talk about the underrepresentation, it's also important to acknowledge the Pacific women that have come along to be part of this forum, particularly the most recent Pacific parliamentarian for Tonga, the only Pacific parliamentarian for Tonga, Akusita Lavu. Thank goodness for the by-election that got Akusita into Parliament. Mr. Speaker, can I say that today in the House we have talked about a wide range of issues that affect Pacific, not only in the Pacific Islands, but Pacific here in New Zealand. We've talked about the inextricable links between New Zealand and the Pacific, the importance of that relationship, the history that we share, the whakapapa that we share, that being the most important part of that relationship. We've talked about the aspirations and achievements of our Pacific people, the successes that we celebrate across our region, whether those successes be in academia, sports, culture, arts, heritage, business. We celebrate those successes, but we've also talked today about the many challenges that we share. And from many of the speakers, as my colleague Megan Woods alluded to, many of the speakers, climate change was a primary issue that was discussed, and we know that for many of you, that is at the forefront of your minds as an issue that you have expectations that New Zealand and Australia will stand up for. And can I just say that it is right for you as Pacific nations to demand that New Zealand and Australia stand up and address those issues. Mr. Speaker, the time is winding down, but can I just refer to one quote from a mentor of mine, Associate Professor Tracy McIntosh, Recently, she said, New Zealand won't flourish until Māori and Pacific flourish. I believe when she talks about Pacific, she's not just talking about Pacific here, but Pacific across the region. New Zealand will flourish when Māori and Pacific flourish. Whaftai lava.
Mr. Speaker. Simon O'Connor.